So, deeper question. Ken Livingstone sat here last week and said the Labour Party and the trade union movement, it's the same. It's one and the same. And at times during the last 120 years, it has been one and the same. It's not anymore, though, is it?
We're having a few problems at the moment. I mean, inevitably you're going to find a situation like this where strike action gets bitter. And so you've got Sharon Graham from Unite, and she's saying things like that when she's listening to Keir Starmer, if she closes her eyes, she doesn't know whether it's a Labour politician or a Tory one speaking. So there is a problem with unions. Yeah. I imagine that will come to a head in September at the party conference, when they'll probably give him a hard time. That is the point where he's really got to actually exercise his authority. He's the leader of the Labour Party. In the same way that Tony Blair did it with the unions, Starmer's got to do the same thing.
I get that, but here's the difference. Blair had a vision, and it may be one we agreed with or we disagreed with or we think worked. It's irrelevant. He had a vision.
He won 3 elections. So
he had a vision in the 90s, what he was going to do with the National Health Service. That was one of his big sells to the country, and everyone knew it. What's Starmer's big vision? Well,
I mean, unfortunately, at the moment, the Labour Party seems to have an official policy of fence-sitting. And I do object to that. The one thing that you had about Tony Blair was there was an underlying political philosophy, in the same way that Margaret Thatcher had an underlying political philosophy. Completely different, but they're there. I think that's what you need in a party leader and in a prime minister. And the ones who last longest are the ones who've got that, Blair and Thatcher being the obvious examples. Yeah. Now, you're absolutely right. I'm not quite sure what Keir Starmer's political philosophy is.
Maybe he isn't.
Well, maybe he isn't. Maybe it's pure pragmatism. It could well be that. It's not a bad thing in a prime minister just to be pragmatic. What I do think we're going to see is that the kind of policies that we're looking for at the moment and I agree with you, are sadly lacking, I think we'll see that nearer the election. I think he's storing up his fire for the manifesto general election, which could be next year, and that's where I can see it going.
We'll wait and see, but at the moment, I have to say, Nigel, it's not all that inspiring.